right, everybody. Welcome to the 10th and final episode of our Star Trek Picard Fake Nerds Watch series. I am Brandon T. McClure, the Fake Nerd Podcast. With me on this final leg of our trek is Michael Karls, the Downright Nerdy Podcast.
Hey, thanks again for having me. It's a little bittersweet episode. It's our last one, but I definitely have appreciated you have this whole series. It's been quite a ride. It's been a ton of fun, man. Hope we can do it again for season 2.
It has been an honor to talk with you about this. I must say.
So fun, man. Thanks.
All right, so let's get into it. This episode is the second part of our two-parter. I'm not even going to begin to try to pronounce the episode title. But
Et in Arcadia Ego.
There you go. That works for me. So what do we think about the final episode? What'd you think? What's your initial thoughts?
Initial thoughts were I thought it was a lot better than the part 1 of this.
Sure.
Just in the sense of just pacing and things like that. I thought it just flowed a little bit better. It wasn't the greatest. This whole thing was the entire series. For me, it was a lot of our predictions came to fruition. In this, I thought. Oh, mine did. Oh, I totally called it, man. And you know what's kind of sucks is, I mean, this obviously is spoiler alerts from here on out. I knew I was right because for some reason during the intro of the show, it didn't give me the opportunity to say like skip intro. You know, usually it does. And so I watched it. Special guest appearance. Oh, what's his face? Riker, right?
Jonathan Frakes.
And Jonathan Frakes. And I'm like, oh, well, that just kind of spoiled the whole thing for me. So, I mean, he's in the show. What possible other explanation could there be for him coming in the show in the final finale? Totally called it. And then you called it on Picard at the very end.
Picard
in the golem body. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not. So this, I mean, look, Star Trek Picard is not an unpredictable show, I must say. It does wear its, as we said, it wears its influences on its sleeve. But I do agree that this was a better outing than the first part of this two-parter. The directing is still a bit choppy, but I think the emotional beats land better. Especially with Picard taking flight on the La Sirena. I actually thought that was a good moment.
It's funny you brought that up. It's a great moment, but I still think it was second to the moments that he had talking to Data in the hologram note thing. I thought that was
thing of this episode.
I would almost argue that could be the best thing about the series. I mean, it's easily for me top 3. Easily top 3 for me.
Yeah.
I mean, just everything finally accumulating from Nemesis till now, right? Him being able to Data was just something that I didn't expect that, right? Obviously, like one of our predictions from last episode was Data was going to take the body of the golem, right? And he was going to live forever, right? But the back and forth that they ended up having, and we talked about Data's humanity and how he was almost the most human out of anybody else in Star Trek. That him saying like, "Can you please deactivate me?" Right? I mean, that just is the most human thing that anybody could really that defines us, right? It's not how long you live, but it's how you lived.
Right. His analogy with the butterfly really worked for me. That sequence was, and I think that works because it's a testament to writing, and understanding what Data's sacrifice was supposed to mean. Nemesis is a fine movie. I think honestly I kind of like it. It's okay. It's whatever. But Data's death doesn't resonate the way. What'd you say?
I was going to say, after this season of Picard, Nemesis got better for me because we got to see the emotions after that incident, right?
Yeah, I think
they should have just made Nemesis a TV series that preceded Star Trek Picard. You know, like a one season thing about the Romulans, and then ending with Data's death, supposed death.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea actually. Anyways. But like, Data's death doesn't have the resonance that the show that the movie wants it to have. It's upsetting, but it doesn't. It's not Spock, right? It's not Spock dying. No. That moment gave it that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that moment.
And I think that you know when. And you know what? I would not be. The whole time, like over the past 20 years, as much as Patrick Stewart has been declining, returning to play Jean-Luc, and us saying like, hey, there's a reason why he's coming back. It's so that he can do the character justice. I'm almost inclined to say that it's not just the character Jean-Luc Picard that he wants to do justice, but it's also Data wronging that. Or righting that wrong, right? Not to say that Nemesis wasn't a terrible movie, but it just, like you said, his death didn't resonate when it should have, and he wanted it to.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I was surprised. So let's get off of that for a moment. Unless you have anything more you want to add on there.
Go ahead.
I was surprised that Alton wasn't a bad guy.
Alton Soong. Yeah. I mean, as soon as he realized what had actually happened, then he's like, "Oh, wait a minute, no, that's not my vision." So his vision, his vision is pure, as opposed to his, distant relatives whose motives were questionable at best. But you know what I'm saying? Like the. Yeah, that's how you know his motives were pure. All he wanted the safety and security of his children, right? I mean, what does any parent want, right? That's essentially how he views himself. So now that once he saw that Riker came, and that Picard was essentially going to sacrifice himself, said like, "I'm going to give you something that they never had." It was like, what? My life, Picard out. Like, holy crap. Yeah. Okay, I didn't see that coming. That wasn't bad. I mean, yeah, the show's predictable, and I was wondering how they were going to kind of do it. He's essentially a dead man walking with that brain thing going, so it would actually make sense that he would sacrifice himself in a blaze of glory just to save humanity, similar to the Enterprise B during the Khitomer Accords, right? Having the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. He's the few in this instance that could prevent or delay a war, right?
Right.
That's his view.
Yeah, I didn't love how Evil Soji, I forgot her name. I didn't like how she was just disposed of.
Oh, that was way too easy. To be quite honest with you, okay, so going into a couple gripes. That and the whole Romulan attack in space. The whole was a bit ridiculous to me, in the sense that if they had 200 some ships and they had like 12 to 18 flowers going up, yes, they could have all like shot at it, but I mean, you don't need all 300 ships shooting at it. You can send a whole bunch of parts of other angles to go attack. It was just very tactically unrealistic to me, until all the ships made all the ships left, and I'm like, that escalated quickly and de-escalated quickly. You know what I mean?
No, I wasn't I totally agree with you, and I wasn't so upset with how it diffused, because that's very Star Trek, right? We're not ending in a blaze of glory. We're ending with a conversation.
And also, just to be clear, I wasn't upset with the storytelling aspect of that. I think it was more the directing, the pacing of that part of the direction.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
So I agree with you that is very Star Trek.
Yeah, I didn't like how Riker showed up with 100 of the same ship. What was all the other ships?
So they all had the same class, right?
Yeah, they're all the same class.
I don't know, and supposedly I guess are we meant to believe that that's the flagship? Uh-oh. Brandon, you there? Uh-oh. So I think it's just me right now. So hey, it's just me.
Mac.
I guess of the
back.
Fake Nerd Watch. Sparks, I'm pretty sure you're going to be watching this on the replay as you're editing. Going to be kind of fun. Oh, there you are. I was just talking. That's it.
Okay, good.
Talking to your editor-in-chief, Sparks.
It's the amount of people using the internet during this whole thing that's making this happen.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Now let me ask you this. When they all came out, they said that the flagship was hailing them. Did they meant the flagship of the Federation or just the flagship of that Armada? Are we really meant to believe that the flagship of the whole Federation is not the Enterprise? Because the Enterprise wasn't there.
There might not be an Enterprise.
Yeah, maybe.
Or it could be.
So
I think it's ambiguous enough to leave.
So the reason. So here's my reasoning that the Enterprise does exist and this is not. And so Riker is he's essentially like a reserve, right? He's on active reserve or inactive reserve, and he asked to be reinstated for this mission when he heard Picard's plea for help, right? I don't think that he's going to be the put on the flagship of the entire Federation just for this one mission. So I think that he's the flagship, since he's the one that wanted back in. He's the flagship, or he's the captain of the flagship Armada of that. You know what I mean? They wouldn't give an inactive or an active reserve guy the flagship, Enterprise or the flagship ship of the Federation.
I mean, you might to Riker.
That's just my read. You might to Riker, but I mean, we don't know how long it's been since he's been out of the, where the Enterprise is at this point in time.
True.
I guess, that would be very. But they might give it to Riker, but then he said something to the effect of like, this is the most advanced technologically advanced starship that Federation has, and I got 100 of them pointing reflector shields or something like that, right?
Right.
Like, okay, well, I wonder if they're all like this now. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of would have liked more variety, some more types of vessels in that moment. Just kind of because I'm a geek and I like that sort of thing.
Oh yeah. No, I have that. Yeah, or feel the same way. What do you think of the uniform?
Yeah. I like that uniform. I think that's a cool design for the uniform.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah. Let's see.
It's got.
The ending wasn't okay. Picard's death. Did you buy it at all throughout the episode?
Not one bit. This entire season, I didn't buy it. The only reason, obviously we know there's a season 2, which spoils it. Which I hate when TV series do this. But in the same respect, get to the synth homeworld, we see this golem that's just sitting there, right, with no face. And I'm like, okay, all right, I know where this is going. Yeah, I could see them wanting to do Data, but Brent Spiner is too old, and I don't think they have the budget to do a full season for Data. Yeah, they could have done it for one and just had him go off into the sunset. But the series is called Star Trek Picard. All right, they already teased it in the very first episode where he's got that brain thing. So I'm like, okay, come on. We know that Agnes has usually multiple things that they have to overcome during the course of a season. This is going to be one of them, right?
It could have been a 2-season arc,
I think I saw it coming. Very well could have made it
both seasons.
Yeah.
Because his death doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that once Picard finally ends, will a Death of Picard mean something? Do you think that we'll see a Death of Picard at the end of whenever Picard ends? However many seasons it may go for.
Maybe. Oh, I thought.
I mean, I think that's something that Star Trek has never.
Sorry, real quickly. I did not like how they're just like, it's the same body, just cybernetic. You're fine though.
That's so lazy. That was so lazy. Yeah, that was some of the laziest writing in this entire series. Couldn't have thought of anything better. Come on.
Right. Yeah, it's just like we didn't want you to have to get used to super strength.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to talk quickly because I lost my train of thought over something else we were talking about.
Sorry.
What were we talking about? Anyways, so we were talking about so Picard's death meaning something and how it doesn't mean the lack thereof, right?
Right.
When the crew reacts to his death, I don't believe any of them for a second except for Elnor. That was by the actor Elnor. When he just breaks down into Rafi's arms and cries and she consoles him, that was probably the only believable thing. Like the thing with what's his name? The Captain Rios and 7 of 9. Second, I didn't think they cared. I didn't feel an emotional attachment whatsoever. Your doctor, Alison Pill, didn't buy it.
Well, she doesn't have one.
The only two
get a response.
I mean, well, when he initially the breath is done and she's kind of crying, that's what I meant. Soji,
no, I agree about Elnor though.
Elnor was the standout. That was the standout. Yeah. That was the only time when you really saw, because those two have the most history with the character Picard in this series.
Right. Let's talk about 7.
Sense.
7 has been wasted this entire series.
And the Borg.
That Borg Cube comes to nothing. What was even the point of either of those plot lines?
I mean, you don't need to have it in it. You get exactly where you were. You get to the end point is exactly where you end up if you don't even have that in the movie. You know what I mean?
Guess, but it's just it does. It
you just change the location to what I mean. There's no sense in making it a Borg cube. I mean, you might as well just be in a bar on Earth.
Right. The cube doesn't have any impact anymore because it doesn't have any resolve. And 7's fight with evil Romulan, who I don't even care about, doesn't mean anything because those characters have never met on screen before.
Mm-hmm. And
Narek
quite
disappears.
honestly, I mean, Narek disappears. Hugh's death was very. It didn't resonate with us either, right? It was just very quick, and you're like, oh, we're just starting to learn more about this character. PNG, this character means nothing to you,
right? When 7 kills that evil Romulan lady, when she dies, I was like, oh, that's it? She's done? Off the show? Bye-bye? What happened? That's it?
No, dude, she fell like Palpatine. She's going to come back on Exenar.
She'll come back.
Or Exegol. Yeah. She'll come back on Exegol.
Yeah. Jesus. Oh man! And then Narek. As soon as their action sequence where they beat up androids really easily, which is dumb, Narek just disappears. He's off the show too.
That's right,
They
huh?
just beat up androids. These people are androids.
Oh wow. Yeah, there's a lot of holes in this final episode.
Yeah, and
I mean, I don't know. There's no explanation for where he's at. No explanation.
No, he disappears. He's not on the ship at the end, and he's not. And after the sequence, and after the La Sienna goes into space with Picard and Dr. Jurati, like he's gone. He's left the show.
Yeah. Let's see.
Though I guess 7 is going to be on the season. I guess
Season
7
2
is going to be in the show next season, like properly. Yeah.
Yeah. And it looks like she has a relationship with Rafi now. Did you get that at the end?
Yeah, I got that.
I mean,
yeah, I did.
Okay, so I am 100% all about inclusivity and representation, but this felt so forced and unnatural that it almost felt like a slap in the face.
Those characters have never met.
Like it didn't. There was no history with that relationship at all. If there was a history, it would have been a lot better. You know, like if they would have done a Rios and Elnor, that would have made a lot more sense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That would have made a lot more sense.
Rios and Jurati makes more sense because they share more screen time.
They did it for the sake of doing it, and of a checkbox, and that kind of thing bothers me, and it does everything. It does a disservice to that. I'm gonna get off on a rant.
I don't mind. No, it's okay. I just want to be clear to the people listening.
Yeah.
Like, I do not mind making 7 bisexual because she had a relationship with Chakotay, so she would be bi, or perhaps she just realized she was gay. That's fine. But she only has one scene with Michelle Hurd in the entire series. And there's never a moment where they build up where it's the relationship that could be more. Season 2 has to do one hell of a job with the legwork there in order to make me buy that they could be together.
Yeah.
That's what
I mean, unless it was just like they'll have to do like a love at first sight type of thing. You know what I mean? That's the only way I'd be able to buy it. You know, or no, I got it. You ready for this? You ready for this? Flashbacks. Sure. We're getting more flashbacks. More flashbacks from season 1 that we didn't see behind the ship.
Man. They stopped doing the flashbacks.
Got it.
They did.
They were done with the flashbacks. And once they were done with it, I missed it because the direction was terrible in the last 2 episodes. So yeah, missed them.
I mean, the flashbacks did their part.
You did it. Yeah. Okay, now I gotta ask the question.
Yeah.
Ask a question. Do you Alex Kurtzman, is he still on your S list?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this show did nothing to sway.
No.
Okay.
He doesn't write it. As far as I can tell, he only has an executive producer credit. If he was not involved, if someone better was involved, maybe like Ron Moore, this would have been 10 times better.
Ron Moore's a genius. I honestly believe when it comes to sci-fi writing, true. He's very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about? No. Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't. You have too much knowledge about it, and then when you explained it to me, man, I was like, "Yep, 100%." Yeah, he's not a fan. He's just he watches what he wants to watch, and then changes what he wants to change to fit his agenda, as opposed to having it.
Right. What about who? I cut you off there.
Oh no, not who, but what about your overall thoughts on the entire series? Are you satisfied?
Oh, I was gonna ask you the same thing. I am. I am for the most part. I would say so.
I yeah, me too. I think that as as poorly directed as this was, the payoff with him and Data made the entire season worth it, even the slow episodes, right? Um,
Yes, I agree.
it was in the Jonathan Frakes directed episodes. Yeah, it was fun to see Star Trek be Star Trek again. But I think the whole point of having this first season was so that we can have that payoff between him and Data of this entire of the entire first season. And I think that
On
they
the
did
set,
it.
they refused
Everything
to get
else,
rid of.
yeah, you can. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, anybody can point out all the plot holes. They can point out all the nitpicks and stuff because there are plenty, and there's like every episode has something negative to say. And yes, I get it. There's a guy whom I follow on YouTube, Scarpad Treks. Really awesome dude. He actually has a lot of great insight. He just, I mean, you watch some of his recaps, his episode by episode recaps on Picard. Man, he can't stand this show. And to each his own. I mean, yeah, there are a lot of plot holes, but I think that this final episode, just that one scene was worth it for me to see that him and Data back together again. For me, the even though sometimes the good did not outweigh the bad in some of the episodes, overall it was still an enjoyable series for me. And I was, like I said, the payoff was everything that I expected and what came to fruition.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think that the low points of this series would have been more overt if they didn't nail the ending. But honestly, I do feel like they nailed the ending, and because of that fact, I kind of look back on it a little bit more fonder than I would have if they didn't.
And to me, the ending was Picard with Data. It was not Picard in the beginning. It was not the crew blasting off into space and Picard saying, make it so, or whatever. That's not the ending to me. I think the ending... I'm not saying the ending should have just been that with Data. I'm just saying, like, okay, that was the ending with Data, and everything else after that was just that in my eyes. That's what I'm gonna. That's how I'm gonna justify it in my head to make it feel better in my brain.
However, watching Data grow old and die, was a really great payoff to Data's whole arc.
100%, and that's why I'm saying that part right there. Right, he's old and dies, and then he walks out. That to me was the end of the Star Trek Picard season 1. Everything after that was all right. Coming up in season 2 of Picard, the crew's together and they're off on their own. Which, by the way, they don't have a mission. Are they just going to go home, or are they going back to the winery, or what? I don't know what's going on. They're all wearing uniforms at the end. They're all wearing comm badges.
First stop is to go home. Pick up Lars and Siobhan.
Yes, because they are two of the stars in the show.
Yeah, I miss them. I miss them a lot.
Yeah.
I think this episode has its issues in regards to its directing, and the payoff of certain elements doesn't quite work. I've been mentioning Descender a lot on this show. Descender gets another shout out in this episode with basically the Harbingers showing up at the end, like these weird tentacle robot monsters. Like, what was that? That's the next season I want to see.
Gosh, yeah. Oh gosh, you remind me of the in the Matrix that were busting through the hull.
I was going to say Hellboy.
Part 1. Oh, Hellboy! Hey, good call. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, the first Hellboy with the squid monsters.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was gonna say
Good call.
Hellboy. I want the next season to be them finding that species.
Yeah, because if anything, the big question was like, what would come through that portal? Like, would it be humanoid beings or what would it be? I mean, it looked nefarious. Right? It did
Right.
because it was dark and it was slithery and snaky, like very Voldemort like.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it just proves. I mean, it shows that there is something else out there. There is someone listening at the other end of that beacon. Could have like when Q first introduced the humans to the Borg, Guinan says something like, "Hey, we got introduced to the Borg way earlier than we should have, and now they know that we're here. They're going to be coming." Same effect to this new synth or new android species or whatever, long tentacles. War of the Worlds is coming, right? And they're gonna come and suck your brains out or something. Who knows?
What do you want to see from season 2?
I don't know.
Yeah.
To be quite honest. Bless you.
I don't think I would be.
What would you want
upset
though?
That it doesn't. The Borg. I want to resolve to the Borg.
What do you want resolution? If it's based on Picard, do you think? So do you think he has some unfinished business with the Borg? Is that what you're saying?
I think the Borg have some unfinished business with him.
Are there more Borg out there?
Yes.
Because if this keeps disconnected from the collective and Janeway killed all the rest of the Borg that were connected to the collective.
So this Borg. So here's the problem. Here's the issue with introducing the Borg and then not using them the way you probably should have. We are led to believe that the Borg that we meet were separated after Janeway destroyed their transwarp conduit hub, which means that the Borg are still around, which means they still exist, because this cube was separated from the collective. Now, if you don't resolve that, then once again the Borg don't have a resolution. They get one in First Contact when you kill the Queen. Okay, but maybe there's more Queens. Okay, so in Voyager you get some when they kill all the Queens and all the Borg. Okay, well, not actually. They're still around. Okay, well, now we need the resolution again. We need a third resolution for the Borg. Or else you just leave them hanging again. And if you're not going to use them, why bother bringing them back?
I think they brought them back just for the sake of bringing them back. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I just don't believe. Yeah. I to be honest, I honestly believe that that's it. Because I mean,
I don't want that to be that way.
I hope not. No, trust me. I mean, I'm in your boat. I mean, I hope not too. But you brought up a point the episode before that when we were talking about Star Trek Discovery, in the sense that every season is different, with a different plot, right?
Right.
Well, it's almost obvious that we're going to get that, so we may not see the Borg this upcoming season. If there's a season 3, maybe we will. I don't know.
Maybe,
but
there are still
so you did see,
here.
Even though it's okay. I just don't think the threads are for them to tug on it. I don't know. I hope they should be, but I don't think that. I mean, I don't know. I hope you're right. I hope I'm wrong. I don't know.
I know you've got a better track record than I do.
Yeah, I'm like, what? I'm thinking this whole. Oh, you know what would have been fun? Every prediction we would have. We write out 5 predictions per episode, right? And what on what to expect, and we tally them all up and see who wins at the end.
That would have been a good idea.
Yeah, it would have been kind of fun. I'm much better at this than I am at bingo. Bingo, I'm terrible at. But
You're
let's
going
see.
to ask me a question.
I was going to ask something about a question about season 2.
Sorry, I keep making you lose your place.
It's okay. It's all right. It'll come to me.
I apologize.
Okay, so season 2.
Can we touch on
Here's some things that I want to see. I want to see in season 2, Geordi. I want to see Beverly. I want to see other characters from other since we got 7 of 9, maybe a Chakotay. Ezri, a Dax, Worf. I want to see Worf. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff that they can do to incorporate and start, because they brought this show back is because they wanted to bring the old Star Trek fans back, right? Because they lost a lot of their Star Trek fandom after Enterprise or during Enterprise, right? Even though that I thought that was a good series, a lot of people didn't at the time, which is why it only lasted 4 seasons, and then whatever else than this. They had to bring them back. So I think the way that they try to bring them back is they keep on bringing back all these old actors that to reprise their roles, and try to bring everybody back in some new adventure. That's,
I mean, as I've said, I don't want Star Trek to deal with too much in nostalgia. But if you're already doing a show about Picard within this era, I would like to see where these characters are, and I would also really like them not to all be in terrible places when we meet them.
But he has death in the yeah. Everyone has black clouds, bro. Sorry, it's not happening.
Everyone has a shit past. Like after we left them, just everything got worse.
You know what's gonna happen is we're gonna see a whole bunch more death, and then you're gonna end up happy but a little sad, and you're gonna be like, "What happened now?" It's like, "Oh, my pup just died." Like, "Oh, okay, god damn it."
They ran out of coffee. The Federation banned coffee.
They ran out of coffee. Yeah, there it is. It's something. Now I gotta go about my day.
The
Enterprise. I want to see the Enterprise in season 2.
I'd like to see that. The evil characters of the evil Romulans and the evil android Soji didn't work very well. They leave as quickly as they came. Their plots come to nothing, and that puts such a damper on this episode until you get to the Data stuff, which I think elevates this episode and saves it, and honestly puts you and I in a state of like, well, you know what, this episode wasn't so bad, because we can't remember some of the bad stuff.
Yeah. The antagonists throughout the entire show were lacking of depth. Anyways, it was just very cookie cutter bad guys, and
the way they disposed of them was even worse.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Let's see. I don't know if I've got more.
Let's see. What else is there? They're kind of looking through this and the whole thing.
We talked about the Picard.
What was the name of the ship that? Oh yeah, Zheng He.
I don't know.
USS Zheng He.
It was really nice to see Riker in the captain's chair.
Yep.
I did really appreciate that. Good.
Yep.
I would like to see more Starfleet in the next season.
Well, we do see them have the comm badges at the end, the Starfleet comm badges.
No, it's the same.
Where did they get those from? I don't know where they got them from.
It's the same La Sienna comm badges.
They all just had them? Okay.
Yeah.
It almost looked like they were all wearing
like the DS9
uniforms.
comm badges.
Okay.
No, they're still wearing.
It almost looked like they were wearing uniforms. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just all in the same color for some reason.
Yeah, Soji's part of the crew now.
Soji and...
That prophecy that Narek spouts off means nothing, I guess.
No, it doesn't at all. Not one bit.
Yeah.
It was just filler dialogue, I feel like. That's all it was. It was just a way for him for the writers to convince the good guys to team up with him. That was it. That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't have just said like, "Hey, they're trying to summon some more bad guys. More synths are coming to destroy all of mankind." They said it themselves. That should have been enough. They don't need to go into this whole weird history or whatever. And then, I mean, Elnor has he tries to do his comic relief, which just doesn't work because the dialogue in and of itself is so bad. Where he's all like, "I still hate you." I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool.
All right.
Yeah. I don't know. This all in all, a solid season, a solid return. I hope the next season's better. I'd like to see this improve.
What grade would you give the entire season?
Oh, a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10.
Oh crap. Okay, so you do numbers. I do letter grades. So that's what, like
numbers, man. What the hell?
7? Okay, so 7. That's 70%. So 6.5. So D plus C minus. Is that what you're getting?
In your grading, probably a solid C.
Okay, I'll give it a C. I'll give it a C as well. It borders between a C and a C minus for me.
Yeah.
So, and to be quite honest, the only reason why it's a C, if it didn't have the ending that it did, it would have been a solid D plus for me.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Because I mean, really, minus that ending, the only strong thing that I really enjoyed of this entire season was the Riker when he goes to visit Riker, and we get all our little flashback or throwbacks of nostalgia, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, it's TNG again, cool. And then we're back to essentially Star Trek Discovery with an old Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah, the Star Trek, the Riker episode is at the high point of the season, and then it dips a bit for me. I wouldn't say it's too Discovery-like, but it was cool to see Picard fly a ship again. That was cool.
Okay,
it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably a C.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. I guess that's it.
I'm sad. This is it.
Me too. And we don't know when
I had a great
time,
man.
Back, so.
Well, if you want, I mean, I still have to watch Discovery. If season 3 does end up not being everything going on, then if you want to do a season 3 of Discovery, let me know. I'll try to catch up and get up to par.
I'll tell you what. Watch Star Trek Discovery season 2, and then let me know if you want to continue with season 3.
Okay, I gotta finish season 1, so I didn't finish season 1
first.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll do that, and we'll touch base. Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
It said coming soon, right at the very beginning.
Yeah, but we are in well-worn territory with no new Star Trek coming out, and no idea when that new Star Trek is coming. So, that's the curse of a Star Trek fan.
Right. Exactly.
All right. So, for the last time, then, I have been Brandon T. McClure, the Fake Nerd Podcast. This has been the Star Trek Picard Fake Nerds Watch series. Go back and listen to, watch all the prior episodes, watch the series. Let us know, do you agree, do you disagree? Comments down below. Like and subscribe for more videos on this channel. We have a Basement Arcade series that's going on right now. We just launched Mortal Kombat 9 Basement Arcade. That's the entire Fake Nerd crew going through Mortal Kombat 9. It's a lot of fun. We've had it in the bank for a while. You guys are going to enjoy that. This week, we have our episode on Mulan. Like I said last week, guys, we're the only people in the world who saw Mulan. So definitely want to check that out. It's going to be great fun as we discuss in deep spoilers the new Mulan movie. Otherwise, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Fake Nerd Podcast. I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. You can find our show, Fake Nerd Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Michael Karls, thank you so much for being on this trek with me. It's been a lot of fun. It's been an honor, sir, talking about Star Trek. Where can they find you?
Yes, it was a lot of It was a lot of fun, man. Before I even get into that, dude, thank you so much for inviting me. It's somebody of equal Star Trek knowledge to talk all this and get nerded out on this kind of stuff with. It's been such a fun ride. It's one of the shows I look forward to so much every week, and I really hope we do get to do it again soon.
Me too.
Yeah,
me too.
and so yeah, I guess all over the Instagrams, Facebooks, YouTubes. Just type in Downright Nerdy Podcast. DownrightNerdy.com is our website. On Twitter, we're @Nerdy Downright. I totally messed that up when creating it. I got too big of a following to just switch it. So yeah, that's where you can find us. And yeah, stay tuned. Make sure you hit that notification bell here because they got a whole ton of stuff. We got a whole bunch of stuff on our channel too. Been doing collaborations with other members of the comic book community, pop culture community, movie review community, podcasters, and the like. It'll a ton of fun. Check it out.
You just did something with our co-host Ben Magnet.
Yes, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. So I started a book club with Ben from the Fake Nerd Podcast. It was based on the book series, The Chronicles of Royal High, and we had the author Rachel Litvin on board. And what we're doing is a 6-part book series where chapters time down and go forward. So if you like fantasy, if you liked it's a Harry Potter mixed with World of Warcraft mixed with Lord of the Rings. It's a ton of fun. It's a fun so check that as well. With your other co-host Ryan, I've been doing Downright Annoyed with Movies with alongside other podcasters such as Bored and Annoyed Podcast, Pinky's Out Podcast, Just a Little Podcast, Comic Tales, and obviously Fake Nerds as well as myself. We discuss a new movie, a new random movie out of nowhere every week. We have to watch it. So this upcoming week, we're watching Enduring Love featuring Daniel Craig, a 2004 drama, which I'm not excited to watch, but that's the whole game. We get to watch things normally watch and give our reviews and decide whether or not we still hate or love the genre.
Yeah. All right, then. Until next time, whenever that is, live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper, my friend. Thank you again.